Yo, welcome back, guys. This is an interesting episode of Superman and Lois. We are dealing with episodes 4 through 6. We have Kyle and Chrissy's wedding that does not go off. They decide that they don't know that much about each other, so they decide to call it quits. During that time, we also find out that Superman is starting to have limitations to his powers. While flying with Jonathan is displaying Superman's powers at its peak. But Superman fell during a flight. His heart was kind of having a palpitation. So we see he has the heart of a 60-year-old human. So that is now starting to affect his powers. They're limiting the amount of things he can do before he starts to feel it. In episode 4, we also find out that Lois and Jordan have finally kind of reconciled with Lois pretty much saying that she wanted Jonathan saved over Jordan. We now understand why that happened. Realistically, because one had powers and the other didn't. So that's why there was that thought to save one over the other. So they finally reconcile. Okay. Episode 5, we see that this is a pretty big episode. This is an episode where we really start to see Clark start to have gray hairs. He's seeing his limitations now. He's also trying to review his fight with Doomsday, and it becomes clear that he cannot stop Doomsday. No matter how many times he killed Doomsday during the fight, he came back. So yes, we find out one interesting thing was that he did kill Doomsday, but Doomsday regenerated itself just that quick. So ultimately, he can't win against Doomsday. Lois decides to make a bold move, and what she does is she recognizes that she remembers, I should say, that this version of Doomsday was Clark from the alternate reality back in season 2. So he still had memories of being Clark/Doomsday. So that's what Lois appealed to, his humanity. And it seemed to work because Doomsday flew off. So you have no more Doomsday now. But you still have Lex out there with his plot for revenge. So now we cut to episode 6. Episode 6 was an episode where they have been trying to have get Lex to let go of anger. So Superman actually decides to visit Lex and say, okay, listen, you got to let this go. Obviously, Lex is not letting it go. So much to the point where he has his henchman, Otis, attack Lana and Sarah. Clark gets so enraged that he goes there to confront Lex. Now, they have a fight in the street. Now, you may be wondering, how do they have a fight in the street? Well, Lex has created red kryptonite lamps in the street lights. So he activates them. So now Superman is now a regular human. So they have a one-on-one fight in the streets. At first, it looks like Superman is getting his butt kicked. Then at the end of the fight, Superman Clark really starts getting the upper hand and starts choking him. Almost choking him to death. But he sees Lois, Jonathan, and Jordan, and he stops. So what this does is this highlights that now Clark has finally seen that the limits, the true limits of his powers and even his morality. Because if you remember, Superman is one that doesn't kill. He always finds another resort. Except, obviously, if it was something like Doomsday. He wanted to destroy him. But humans, he never would have done that. So this is, you see the limps in which Clark is really going to now. So he stops himself. So now he's very conflicted. Luthor gets away, obviously. What we find out now is now we see what these final episodes are going to be, 7 through 10. We see that now Lex is on the path to getting the Lexo suit. So we are going to finally see Superman battle Lex in his Lexo suit. Now, we've seen it before because we've seen it on Supergirl. John Cryer's Lex Luthor had the Lexo suit and was fighting against Supergirl. So we've seen the suit. But now we're going to see Superman actually fight Lex in that suit. So this is going to be an iconic couple of episodes. We know that Jordan and Jonathan have both decided that they need to step up to the plate and share the heroics. So now we kind of get the impression they're both going to get new suits that are going to probably match Clark's in some way. But how do you think Superman is going to end? Do you really think that they are going to take Superman's powers away and basically do a Crisis on Infinite Earth, Smallville type thing where he has no powers anymore? I personally hope they don't do that, because I think Superman should always have his powers. He doesn't age like we do. So the fact that they're doing that I don't know what to think about that. But tell me what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe.